Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Josh from Team Crescent. Gonna do my agent deck profile. These are trade-in agents, guys. I kind of use triple Christia, triple Hyperion, and added into trade-in engine. It's pretty good. The only problem with it is that it's relatively inconsistent. And if you guys watched my first video, I mean not my first video, the video I posted up 2 days ago, I did say that the problem and the decks that will reign this format are the decks that can create field presence and protect it very well. This one will create fantastic field presence. Protection is severely lacking, and I'll go ahead and explain the stuff that I like throughout the deck profile, or maybe a little bit after the deck profile. But for right now, here are trade-in agents. All right, so we gotta start off the deck profile with 3 Earth. Very self-explanatory. The search of your deck, it basically gets out everything. Then you got triple Venus. Venus is by far my favorite card. Creates your shine balls, your ball sacks, and this card is very abusable, especially with Transmodify. It just creates that extra dump in the graveyard, and I think that's pretty good. And like I said, you create your ball sacks, and yeah, you love ball sacks, hollowed out ball sacks. For your tour guide engine, I actually run 2 tour guides in the tour bus. The tour bus is not as dead as people think. I do run Allure, so Allure does help with the dead tour bus sometimes in hand, but even more so, like, my point of running Tour Guide actually is to bring out my Levier and create Levier OTK plays or big push plays. And because I don't always have the Levier play, or I don't really have anything to Levier back, I need the Tour Bus so that I can send the last Tour Guide back to my deck in order for me to create a defense for Zenmane. So it's not like I said, like, this deck is pretty inconsistent. I wouldn't say this is one of the reasons why, though. To be honest, I think that actually Tour Guide is a lot better than Night Assailant, just my personal opinion. Then of course you have the Gen X Ally Birdman. Gen X Ally Birdman is fantastic for the reason that I could go for level 9, level 7 plays, and it's a dark. So if I want to exceed into something with it and set up my graveyard to go for a dark, I think that it's really good. It does get banished, and actually this is one of the biggest targets I use for Levier in order for me to, I don't know, either go for a rank 3, go for a synchro summon play, virtually anything. Genesis Light Birdman just opens up some nuts combos. And I think this is the only reason why I have a level 9 in my extra deck. So that does it for just casual monsters, I guess, because I'm about to move on to hand traps. We can start off with the On. It's very self-explanatory, damage step shenanigans. And I run 1 Veiler and 1 Herald of Orange Light. I could be running 2 Veilers, I could be running 2 Herald of Orange Lights, one of each. It's a personal preference. I think this format, actually, these 2 are going to be more prevalent than ever, and like less important than Maxi, just my personal opinion. But yeah, so far it's been a pretty good balance. I might bump it up to like 2 Veilers and 1 Herald of Orange Lights. You know, it's just protection. And 2 Maxis. This was probably my first mistake when building the deck. I didn't really anticipate the format to be as slow as I thought it was. In hindsight, I probably would have taken out 1 Maxi for a second Veiler. That's just it. That's the only thing I would do. Next, you have the 2 Tragos. Tragos are awesome. Enough said. I can't really say. You will understand that I'm not playing Gorse in this deck, making it a 6-7 hand trap count. And the only reason why I don't run Gorse, actually, is because, like, I don't like taking direct hits. Like I said, the deck is pretty fragile as it is. And usually when I bring Gorse out, I can't really do any big plays with it next turn. It's just going to act as a 2700 beater. And my theory behind Gorse is that, or the theory behind this deck is that everything serves a purpose. And especially with Trag, like, I use its levels, I use its ability to manipulate levels so often in order for me to go to ranks, or in order for me to steal my opponent's monsters, or maybe even sometimes just for a synchro play. Like, one way or another, Trag basically has access to every single level when you include my extra deck, and it's really good. I think that Trag definitely takes precedence over Gorse any day, especially when it comes to my build, at least. So that wraps it up. The hand traps and boss monsters. You got triple Hyperion. I do not need to explain this. Nuts plays. 3 Christias. Like I said, I was playing the trade-in engine. So my theory behind the triple Christia was that, you know, although Christias may be dead in my hand sometimes, the trade-in is actually just going to build up the field presence. And, you know, triple Christia actually wasn't as dead as most people thought. You know, people say that, like, it's really inconsistent, but it combos very well with Herald of Orange Light. And sometimes when you have 2 Christias in hand, after they get rid of the first one, you actually could special summon the second one very quickly. Or, like, just wait till next turn to special summon it. And you have, like, kind of that infinite loop, if you will. Use it to recycle Honest all the time, and it's freaking nuts. Chaos boss monsters, you have BLS and Chaos Sorcerer. Think about putting in a second Chaos Sorcerer. Not really priority right now. The Chaos Engine actually isn't as prevalent in this deck. These 2 simply just act as beaters and options. And that does it for the monster lineup. Let me set that off to the side. Alright. And moving on to spells. Just like how agents are going to be agents, you know, they're just going to have a lot of monsters. Dark Hole. I don't know how I feel about Dark Hole. My friend Brian is trying to convince me to take it out of the main deck and put it in the side deck. I feel like with agents, I like to go for big pushes a lot, and I got to get rid of their board before any of that. So I'm going to keep it in. You have Pot of Duality, just for consistency issues. I still believe that Earth Pot of Duality is the best first turn play that you can have. 2 MSTs, and the only reason why I'm not running 3 is because I run something else in the main deck that you guys will later see. That was a bit of a meta call. Transmodify, like I said, pretty nuts plays with Venus. You can bring out a Shine Ball, use it, get a Venus out on the field, and then after that, just sort of go for nuts plays. Go into a Levier, go into a Zen mains for defense. Like, I don't know how many times I can tell you guys Zen mains Gachi in the exact same turn, and it's hilarious because your opponents just like have no idea what to do at that point. But unfortunately, that play is not as busted as it once was. You know, the fact that Zen mains is your biggest defense kind of sucks in this deck. But yeah, that's just, you know, unfortunate. That's the deck. But yeah, Transmod does very well. It dumps the extra fairy in the graveyard, and more often than not, it sets up my Christia plays. Control cards, you got Econ in my control. The only reason why I'm not running Creature Swap is because space is already relatively tight in this deck. And, I don't know, both of them are really good. I use Econ a lot. I want to play 2 Econs. I think that if it was up to me, I'd play 2 Econs instead of a third, not Mind Control, a third Creature Swap. And Mind Control is just nuts. You gotta be careful with how you use this card, though. Sometimes it's not always the best option, especially when your opponent just has something set face down. Usually I won't go for a Mind Control unless I have a tuner in hand. So, you know, that's just my opinion. I wouldn't just blind Mind Control. Maybe I'll go for Mind Control to like create some nuts plays, or go for an OTK, but you know, that's pretty freaking rare. And for the draw engine, of course, you have triple Trade-in, and to round it off, you have the Allure of Darkness. Trade-in worked out pretty well. It's just, you know, drawing 2 Trade-in with no targets in hand just kind of sucks, and you know, I can't really say anything about that. And that does it for the spell lineup. And only traps I run are 2 Decrees, and that's the only reason why I won 2 MSTs. This was a meta call in my opinion. I didn't really know what to expect. Because my entire team virtually was playing at this tournament, and I knew Bizing was running Madolches, I knew Brian was running, Bujins, and I know Rick was running Infernities, and Alex was running Geargias. They all pretty much have a pretty heavy reliance on their traps, and I thought this was going to shut them down very well. I wasn't wrong, but when I bumped into like the Harpy player, this did nothing, and then when I bumped into Bino game 1, and he mind crushed 2 of my cards, I didn't have these in hand, so maybe either push these to 3 or don't run them at all. I don't know, but yeah, that does it for the traps. So moving on to the extra deck, I'll go ahead and start off like just in order of the. Let me do actually the Xyz first. I think those are pretty cool. For rank 2 Xyzs, I have your Daigusto Phoenix and Gachi Gentetsu. I went in, you know, you can't have agents without this card, but I went in for this card more because I just love the OTK push, and it's really fun. For rank 3s, you have defense in the form of Zen mains, and you have offense in the form of Levier. This is the only reason why I run Tour Guide, and because I run Tour Guide, and because this is the only reason why I run Tour Guide, I have to run Tour Bus, just in case of the, you know, off chance that they get rid of the first play, and I don't have anything in my hand except for a Tour Guide, and I need to go for defense. And because it's agents, and because you always happen to be put into this situation with 2 level 8s, you gotta run 1 rank 8. And I think Divine Dragon Felgrand is the best as of right now. I was running Heliopolis before this, but I think this card's just better overall, and you know, defense, offense, everything. So that does it for the Xyz. Now for Synchros, you have Mistworm. Only reason why I run him is because of Gen X Birdman. I wouldn't run him any other way else. People ask me why I don't run Star Eater. Very, very unlikely you're ever going to get Star Eater on the field, and very, very unlikely it's ever going to help you for anything. I think it takes up too much resources for this deck, and it takes up a bit too many, and it requires too many pieces, too much effort to bring it out with not a big enough impact for me to, you know, sort of call it a part like it, to make it necessary for a part of my deck. This does the job very, very well. And people, Johnny's trying to convince me to run Gigantus because it actually is easier since Mistform does require 2 non-tuners, and that's an option. That's actually something that I'm thinking about. But you know, Mistform will be Mistform, and I think that it's a really, really good card overall. Angel Azera didn't go into him at all. Rarely ever go into him. It's just if I ever have the opportunity, BLS shenanigans, Hyperion shenanigans, probably coming out of the extra deck very, very soon. This is the rank level 8 for the day. Need him. He actually works with Honest now instead of Stardust. I don't know why Stardust is a win, but yeah, still very, very much like him. Fantastic card. Crimson Blader, in case I bumped into Dragons, in case I bumped into Machinas. I didn't play Alex at all, which kind of sucked, but very good option to have. Scrap Dragon went into him once to pop a Dragosack token that I took from a Dragosack. You know, Mind Control, Dragosack's effect, pop itself, pop something, go into Scrap Dragon, pop a token, pop something else, go for a game. Pretty good. And that does it for the level 8s. Level 7s, you have Ancient Sacred Wyvern. Need I say that this card is pretty crazy for the reason that if you run him with Transmod, you can transmod this guy into a Christia, which I think is ridiculous. It's awesome. But yeah, this card just makes my OTKs happen so much faster, and it's awesome. German Black Rose, for the reason that is German Black Rose. You can't have an agent deck without Black Rose. Well, you can. I just, you know, it's a great option to have. I'm not taking it out of the extra deck for any reason. Didn't blow up the field at all, but still. HCS Simonth, definitely taking him out for that new level 6 that came in Shonen Jump promo, and I can't remember its name right now. But you guys should know what I'm talking about. Basically, its effect is that you can bounce one card from your side of the field and one card on the opponent's side of the field, bounce them back to each other. Vulcan the Divine. There we go. Vulcan the Divine. Like, definitely taking off for Vulcan the Divine. It's a good card, don't get me wrong, but Vulcan's just so much better in every way. It plays defense better. It still gives you the option. Like, it does its job right on the field, where this card needs to get destroyed by battle or something like that. So, yeah. Next is Ally of Justice Cadister. The reason why I'm not playing Armades in this deck is because I prefer the dark lineup as opposed to the light lineup. And because I already have primarily a whole bunch of light cards in the deck, literally Cadister's job is to dump a dark in the graveyard when I go for a rank, when I go for a level 5, and it does it. And it's a great card. And Armory Arm, just in case I need to go for a level 4. BLS Armory Arm is still a thing in this deck, guys. So, yeah, I mean, what can I say? That's an OTK. So yeah, and that wraps up the extra deck, and I believe that is 15. I hope I didn't miscount. Yeah, it's 15. And yeah, so that just about does the deck, guys. I mean, I can't really say much as opposed to saying that the deck rocks. I mean, going on to the strengths about the deck, it bursts very quickly, and it gives you options of Christia with the trade-in setup very, very nicely. Unfortunately, the trade-in option isn't always prevalent, and I hate trading into BLS, though I've done it sometimes and it's gotten me out of situations, but, you know, I feel like it's just a waste. There's not enough targets for you to really trade in anything consistently, and the draw engine is not as superior as Dark Worlds, whereas, like, you know exactly what you're going to be trading in all the time. So that's my issue with the deck. But overall, like, playing defense on the hands is great. Being able to main detect the Krees is awesome. I think that the Kree is going to be a big card this format. I personally think that, you know, playing traps is going to be a thing again. And a lot of people have been asking me about, like, you know, whether or not agents are going to be a top tier deck. Personally, I don't think that they are. Like I said, you need to be able to protect your field. This deck doesn't do it very, very well. But yeah, guys, it's a very fun deck. I suggest you guys try it out if you guys haven't already. You know, I probably won't be playing any other agents besides this build, only for the reason that this build's fun, and I wouldn't want to play like a not fun build. And, you know, I kind of like the thrill of playing trade-ins. You know, it's interesting. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Tell me if you guys actually have any ideas to tweak this deck. I'm probably going to be putting it down for this format. My teammates are trying to hook me up with another deck that I'll surprise you guys with later. But yeah, guys, it's a very, very fun deck. I suggest you guys check it out. And I expect the Crescent sides relatively soon. So I hope this video didn't take too long. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys did, thumbs it up. If you guys have any suggestions, put it in the comment section down below. And if you guys haven't, subscribe. So with that said, this is Josh from Team Crescent, signing out.